Hello, 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 and welcome to another round of the round table. Y'all, forgive me. This episode is a week late because I got old and I took a nap. Ain't even gonna lie. I took a nap and I overslept. Woke up, I slept through the whole podcast. So I'm sorry and I do apologize, but I'm so thankful that Christine Austin decided to still make this happen because I know time is precious. But y'all already know how we do. I'm coming back with another topic that you can use in business or in real life or whatever you got going on because boundaries are real, okay? And we have someone here that can definitely talk about it and give you some, pointers, some things to help put boundaries in place for those of y'all that are afraid to say no. So, with no further ado, I'm going to pass the microphone over to Miss Christine Austin and let her introduce herself to y'all. Sorry.
That's all right. That is all right. We both over here struggling with our voice, and it's fine.
Yes.
But guys, I'm so glad to be on the platform. Of course, Sandra, thank you. I know again we were supposed to be here late, but this is perfect timing. So God has it all in order. I
Yes.
am a life insurance agent, manager, broker. Have been in the business since 2011, but I'm also a business strategist. Right. So I have helped multiple people in different business, whether it was starting from the beginning of websites, all of the things business. So this is very, very, very nice to be able to talk about boundaries because throughout all these years, I have definitely learned quite a bit of the importance of having boundaries because your girl was one who didn't really understand it or have them and suffered greatly because of it. So I'm glad to have to talk about it today.
Yes, I'm glad to have you. So, the title, y'all, is No is a complete sentence. Period. Okay? You ain't got to explain yourself. No is no. And you have got to learn to make no your best friend when you need to. Okay? So, we're going to get
Yes.
right into it. Miss Christine, I usually ask my guests some questions. If
Okay.
hey, if we get through one question, I don't care. We just gonna talk. And if y'all are watching, post where you're watching from. If you have questions, post them in the comments. We will answer them as we see them. And hey, talk to us. We love the engagement.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
my first question for you, Miss Christine,
Mm,
what made you realize that boundaries weren't just helpful but necessary?
girl, can I say when I ended up in another divorce?
Oh my God, we're gonna start there.
Can we just bring it to the table, y'all?
We're gonna keep it real,
Ser-
honey.
seriously, seriously, not just in that, you know what I mean? When you're really just being honest, when you're really looking at, your life, when things change and it's like you're in a dire position and you're wondering like, how did I end up here again? Like, what is it that I need to start looking at within my own life, my own decisions, um, just all of the things, right? Everything like that. At some point, you have to start looking at you, like, what is it, right? And so, as I was praying and praying, I'm thinking, okay, different things have happened in business world as well. Different decisions were made that I didn't really agree with, didn't really feel good about, but didn't speak up on. And I'm like, okay, even though I have found quite a bit of success through these years, there's still some things that have not really gone like my way or the way that I would have wanted it to, if that makes sense. And
Right.
seriously, really last year when I found myself in the craziness, I was like, girl, you allowed a lot of these things to happen for years,
Mhm.
years. And why did you allow that? And it came back into boundaries, right? Always wanted to be that wife that did everything, that showed up for everything, did everything everybody wanted to be the manager that showed up for everybody, was the go-to person, regardless of the time, right? Regardless of how I felt, always being that person. And that could really wear you down. It can really wear you down. And it wears down the relationships around you because you
Yeah.
find yourself, I found myself, right? Saying yes to things and then knowing it's not really something I wanted to do. So then I'm rushing around trying to get it done and I'm not bringing my full self to it. So it wasn't done to the greatness that I am, right? And then you kind of bring a little attitude to it, but you're the one that said yes to it.
Right.
Those man, when I finally started to say, you know what? I don't like that. That makes me feel this kind of way. I don't want to do this anymore. This doesn't really align with like my goals, my visions, my passion, desire, my God-given gifts. No, I'm not doing it anymore. Oh, the world turned upside down, but I have peace.
Mm. Wow.
I completely am living a life of joy and peace, even though so many people even still are around me like, how? And it's like because I finally got centered, got my relationship right with God, and I was like, honey, you need to look at you and you need
Mm.
to set these boundaries so that nobody else can do certain things, or you allow individuals to do certain things that throw you off of your path to greatness.
Right. I agree because a lot of every decision and life changing decision or transition starts with self reflection.
Yes.
And once you are able to take accountability in any situation, regardless to what it is, then you are so far ahead of majority of people because you're taking accountability instead of putting that blame off on somebody else. When you put it off on somebody else, that means you can't fix it. And we have control. You know what I'm saying?
We have
So
control. Absolutely. I hear people all the time trying to blame. And it's like, yeah, they may have done X, Y, and Z multiple times, but what did you how could that happen? If
right,
you did, what I mean, you allowed it. So
right,
we have to
right.
stop and think about it in its full story. Like, okay, Chris, you know, okay, John, okay, Joshua, okay, Tiffany, like what did you how did you play a part in that? Right.
Right.
And in the beginning, if we really would take the time to understand the different types of boundaries, do the
Mm,
work to understand what it really means and what it means to you. We can listen to podcasts all day. We can read ebooks. Like I have my own ebook on my website about the boundaries, and the workbooks. But if you don't do the workbook part of it and you just continuously listen to someone else, it's not going to work for you because
right,
every person has to identify what it is that they need and what is good or bad for them because somebody else will be fine with, you know, XYZ. All right.
right,
Where I may not. And
right.
so you have to get into an alignment and be very clear about what are the things. And I'm sure, you in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, 50s, 60s, we have lived enough. We've had enough relationships to be able to sit down with ourselves and say, okay, what do I like and what do I not like? What makes me feel good, what doesn't? What am I allowing that I shouldn't? Right?
Right,
What's going to allow me to come and be able to show up as my best self?
right,
Right? And getting that thing down on paper. Then the next step is now having to share that with your friends, family, and spouses if you're in a relationship, because they're like, "Oh, now you want to come talk to me about a boundary? Now you want to tell me this?" And it's like, well, you know what? I spent enough time to realize that this isn't working.
right.
You know, and it's time for me to stand up. You know, so it's better
Yeah,
if we could teach this to our younger individuals that they need to understand who they are, and if anything is coming up, whether it's at work, in the relationship, it's with your friends, right? Any coworker, anybody around you that's making you feel some kind of way, you need to identify, like maybe not at that moment, identify like, okay, that didn't really sit well with me. Why not? What would I rather happen? And then you might have to come back. I've had to do it quite a bit in these last 2 years actually, like coming back and saying, you know what? Yeah, no, that doesn't work for me. And why?
right. And it might have worked last year, but it don't work, it don't work this year. And that's completely fine. A lot of people are just afraid to say no because of what it looks like to other people. But the one thing that I've learned is look, it's either going to be helping me or it's going to be
Yes.
hindering me. And if it's not helping me, then it's not necessary. And we have to start prioritizing those things by putting those boundaries in place.
And if it's hindering you, you can't serve the next person if you were being hindered. Like
Right.
it just doesn't work. So people they talk about it all the time, and that boundaries are, you being selfish. And in
Mm,
reality, it's really not. Like, I'm not trying to keep people out from entering and being in relationship with me. I'm trying to protect what's
right,
inside, what I worked so hard to create, right? So it's not about, oh, I'm trying to be selfish. It's I want to show up as the best person that I can for you. In order to do that, I need to make sure that I have these boundaries and nobody's crossing them.
right. That was the next question. How has poor boundary setting cost you in your personal or professional life?
Oh my marriages. Marriage. Not funny. Trust me, believe me. I believe in marriage. And I probably will end up married again. I'm just gonna
That's what I
say
was
it.
gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you. Side note, after two divorces, are you still, open to marriage? I know some people give up.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Absolutely. Listen. I obviously I was not one that was quick to be in divorce after all the different things, that was going on. I could have been
Right.
got divorced, right? But no, I believe in marriage. I definitely believe it. And it just happened to be what it was. So yes, we'll talk about that again. But how
Yes.
has poor boundaries setting cost you in personal marriages, right? Marriage, not having boundaries. So without getting too personal
Yeah.
about that situation, because it is what it is. It's been almost a year. Let everybody go be great, right? And I mean that wholeheartedly. No,
Right.
I don't feel any ill will at all. I believe everything happened for a reason, right? And the timing. But had I had boundaries in the beginning, and I had told him this before, and he agreed, like we wouldn't have been together. We would not have been together, right? Period. Because the things that when I finally started to speak up, show up for me, it was like we all these years in. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't, mm-mm. Like that was a phase. And I used to say all the time, like, I'm grown up right in front of people and they don't even recognize it. They're just like, well, why don't you want to do this now? Why don't you want to do that? I'm like, because I want to kind of do this, you know. Um, I'm, I, I'm kind of getting older, you know what I mean, and it's just not resonating with me anymore. Sitting
Right.
in at the bar doesn't make me feel good anymore. You know what I
Right.
mean? Although I got time to go out and kick it, don't get it twisted. I will go and enjoy some time, but not as much as I was, not as
Right.
long as I was doing it before. And
Right.
when you're with people that those are different things that they still enjoy a lot. Not separation. They're doing it without you, and that
Right.
breeds chaos, right? So just understanding, who you are, like really having that vision for your future. It's a boundary. People say goals, but it's also a boundary because if I knew that I wanted to, be at a certain level, I would have been thinking about every action and decision that I was making, including a spouse back then, to make sure
Mm,
that I was on track to get to where I wanted to go, right?
right.
So it costs you relationships all day long. Relationships. For
Right.
several individuals that I have been around space wise, what have you, just friends that I've gone out, and I find myself sitting and looking at them like, yeah, this is the last time I'm coming out with you because
I've
you're not
been
in
there.
alignment. Huh?
I've been there before too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, you're
And
just
I'm
not in
I'm
alignment.
like, what am I doing? I don't belong here anymore, you know?
You start feeling weird. Right? You
Yeah.
just start feeling, you're in there, you're kiki and it's like you just kind of, well, let me just speak for me. I'm scanning the room and I'm like,
These aren't
I
my
don't even fit
people.
in. I was like, why am I here? I don't even fit in. I was at this one place. It was like a comedy show, but it was like in the hood. It, anyway, it was in the hood. It was a comedy show, and one of the old guys from the neighborhood, my old neighborhood, he walked up to me and he was like, "You don't belong here." I said, "Trust me, I'm leaving right now." Like I had already know. He just walked up on me. I said, "I already know. I just didn't want to make it so obvious, but I'm
Right.
leaving right now." You know, that's a boundary. That's a boundary.
Hi, Martha.
Martha, nice to see your beautiful face. I love
Yes.
that. Maybe I need to get on StreamYard
Gotta go.
again, just for that. But yes,
So, do you think saying yes too often is rooted in fear or is it something deeper?
I would say saying yes all the time is um fear. I don't know if I would say fear for myself,
Mm,
but maybe it is a sense like to think out loud, fear of somebody not wanting to be your friend or
mm,
somebody not yeah, want to be around you because you fear that, okay, if I say no, then they're not gonna like me. That's what
right,
comes to my mind when I hear the fear. For
right.
myself, the saying yes was more so, excuse me, of always wanting to be that go-to person, right?
Mm,
Like I've always been the analyst, I've always been the one research queen. That's why I'm able to help so many people build businesses. They'll come to
right.
me like, oh, I'm thinking about this and that. I'm like, I'm on Google, I'm on YouTube, and I'm already researching for them for free, which we're not doing that anymore because your girl got
Yes.
boundaries. But that's what I would do. And then I would automatically get it. And here it is, and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. And they would still continue to call me and stuff. And I was at the point like, okay, why are you still calling me? Like I did what I wanted to do for you, but don't keep calling me. So
Right.
I didn't have that fear. Maybe it was a sense of I enjoy helping people and being having that small piece of your success, even if you don't even mention me.
Mm, right.
That was
Wow.
my always saying yes. Like, wow, I seen all these people make it to Hawaii because they were in my online course and I helped them get the six figures. And it gave me that pride, me that I was proud, right? Even though I never spoke about it, right? Even though it came to me and stuff, I'm like, don't take this picture and post it because I didn't want everybody to know, want
Yeah.
me in the background, if you will,
Right.
but just knowing. So,
So do you, with saying that, saying like that your purpose is in helping and serving people, because that's your passion. You can't
yeah.
help it. So do you feel like deep down it is a fear of maybe not, walking in your purpose, you know,
Well,
or
that would
being or
be
not being impactful?
well. So, ask me that question differently,
Let me see. So
or ask
could
it,
your
or ask
fear,
it again, or ask it
okay,
again.
do you feel like you're saying yes and wanting to be that go-to person could be a deeper fear of not fulfilling your purpose of helping other people?
Yes, that was for
Okay.
me part of it. But after I've gone through all of my boundaries work and really
Right.
sat down and identified what my purpose is, it's not to be spread thin,
Right. Right.
right? Like God has given us gifts that we are to be able to get paid for and have the abundance and all of those things, but it's structured. It's
Right.
structured. So now, right, I feel very full and have that joy because I'm working still in my purpose, but it's structured. So it's
Right.
now like coming up next week is the first 5-day sales challenge. It's
Mm,
very structured. It is an hour. It's two if you have VIP. It has some one-on-one coaching, but it's structured. I have it
right.
set for a certain time frame. Whereas before the yeses were, oh, you popped up on my phone. I'm in
Mm,
the middle of trying to do my sales for myself and help clients. I see the text and it's like, boom, I'm over here. I'm allowing my
right.
ADHD to just kick me everywhere. Right. And then it's like, oh, wait, what was I doing? No, not
Right.
anymore. So I'm still being able to honor my gift and my passion and what I was called to. But with the boundary, it allows me not to be crazy.
Yes. Not allows you to keep from burnout and being overwhelmed.
Yes. And
Yes.
be able to fully show up for the people I need to show up for because I'm
That's
not
right.
tired. Right.
Right.
Hmm.
So that leads us right into the next question. Like, I swear
I
you was
love
in my
it.
notes, honey. What's the difference between being helpful and being used? And how can people
Baby.
recognize when they're being one, when it's one or the other?
Okay. So, a girl being helpful or being used. That is great. If you, it's and it's so crazy because somebody may not be coming to you to use you, but at the end of the year, day, month, you end up feeling used because you gave too much. Somebody may be trying to use you because they are consistently pulling from you. They know that you're a giver and they're going to keep pulling as much as they can. Kind of like individuals that are on Chat GPT, right?
Mm.
And I'm gonna use this as an example. You ask the one question, how do I do this? It gives you all this stuff. And then at the end, you know, it's like, okay, do you need anything else? And you're like, oh, well, yeah, let me do this. And you find yourself on there for 5 hours, your whole ebook is completed and everything is done, right? Now you take that and do that to a person, you've used them.
Right.
And whenever they listen, and whenever they actually call you and or excuse me, you actually call them because now something that you may want to talk to them about, bounce some things off of them, get some advice, whatever, and don't have time for you ever. Or when you
Mm.
call, they just start dumping and they're back into what they need, what they want. There's a using in there. It's like, oh no, this isn't a
Right.
relationship. I only want to be connected one way to get what I can get from you, and then I'm done. That's when you can identify that you're being used.
Right. Right.
Okay.
So
Being
y'all been
helpful,
know the
I'm
difference.
gonna be helpful. I'm gonna give you that information. Now I give you the information. I've had people that agents that will call me, you know what I mean? And I'm like, we're not doing this again. We've already had this conversation, already told you what to do, nothing changed. Go do that. Once you've done that, you can call me back, but I'm not gonna give you another hour at
Right.
all. You can pay me
Right.
150, and that's cheap because I make over $1,000 an hour. Okay.
It's on the low ball end.
We're not doing that. And we laugh, I laugh, they laugh, and I'm like, listen, I'm for real though.
For real
I'm for
though.
real though. Mhm.
You gotta
I
book
know
me now,
your church,
boo.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I
Yeah.
identify, and I don't think that they're even trying to use me, but they're using me,
Right.
right? They're like, I'm gonna go ahead and no, we already had this conversation. We're not doing that again.
Yeah. They're not looking
Yeah,
at it from the same perspective that you are, you know. To them, they're getting what they need. She don't mind. Oh my gosh, she's so helpful. But nobody sees what goes on behind closed doors. Like
right.
nobody.
And I'm like, no, no. We had that same conversation already. We're not doing it again. The answer is, you
So
know,
I'm a firm believer in, like I said, taking care of self and making sure that we, ourselves are okay in order to be of good service to other people. Um,
yes,
it's very necessary. And
absolutely.
so do you, as far as like, I know personal life, so if we're not okay personally, it's definitely going to affect our business, right?
Yes.
Because that's how we make our money. We don't make our money from being wives and mothers and friends, not in the real world.
Or I
So
would,
we
because I'd be rich.
we got to go out here and work. So we have to take
Yeah.
care of ourselves. So do you believe that people pleasing is also a silent business killer for
Girl,
the entrepreneur?
it is a silent killer, period.
Period.
It is a silent killer, period. And you know what? I think that's part of going back 2 questions where it's like saying no is fear, it's
Hmm.
people pleasing.
Yeah.
Saying yes is always it's being a part of that. I want to please people. I want to be a
Right.
people pleaser. I want to be the go-to to please
Right.
people. That's it. Like, as soon as I seen it, I was like, that is actually it.
That's it.
And that is, I'm like, that's it, right? All the people. And I always say I'm a lover of people. I really am. And I know like I was created for greatness to be able to help so many people because I can tie in and connect with so many people on different levels. I can be in
Right.
different rooms and everybody that I know can't be in a room together with me and all the people that I know because it would not work out. Right.
Right.
People pleasing is a silent killer because you are always pouring out. It's a drug. It is like a drug. Being able to help some individuals and just that energy, that excitement, how they get excited when they're calling and you're like, we need that excitement, right?
Right.
But if you're not careful, think about it. When we're really excited about something, at the end of the day, we're exhausted. I don't know about you, but when I was excited going on this trip, I got to a hotel, I was tired because I had all this excitement about what was going to go on, who I was going to see, what we are going to talk about, all the things. And I'm like, why am I so tired? Girl, you work yourself out. Imagine that going and pleasing all these people. You're giving out all your energy and doing all these things.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you have no room for you. And you wonder, like, is it Friday again? Is it Friday again? I didn't get anything done. Meanwhile, you got a lot done. And everybody else, I used to say all the time, I done got all these people making multiple six figures and I still start one.
Mm,
When I started to shut down some of the things I was doing for people for free, my income went up because I started focusing on things I needed to do.
right,
Right?
right.
Right. It's a killer. It's a killer for your relationships. It's a killer for your own personal health. And it's
Mm,
absolutely a killer for your business, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Because if you don't help other people, you're not getting paid. Let's be
right,
clear. You're not
right,
selling something if you're somebody that sells some things because you're out here helping other people, you're not getting paid. And if you're not
right.
getting paid, you're stressed out because the bills are coming in still. They don't care about who you helped.
They
They don't
sure
care.
don't.
Oh, I was
Don't
able to help us. No, no,
those those bills ain't got no boundaries.
no, they have boundaries. They like,
Oh,
listen,
they got their
you
boundaries.
paying me
You pay or
on
you
the
got to
third.
go.
You are paying me on the third. They're the ones with the boundaries.
Yeah, they have to.
Shoot.
We need to
You
stand
call
on
them on
our
the
business.
phone.
Like,
Yes, you kind of be on the phone like, listen, this is what was going on. This and that. That lady or man on the other line look right at the script. There's nothing about that on the script. They're like, so can I help you process your payment today?
not
They're not
tomorrow.
even they're not even entertaining what you just said. They're like, yeah,
They on a
we
mission.
need to be those people. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So you said something that was, that stuck out too. You said that once you started setting those boundaries, you started making more money. So how
Mm,
can set boundaries actually attract more respect and more opportunities?
girl. The boundaries, when you finally understand, you know, and respect yourself and what you are going to allow and what you're not. And trust me, when you first set the boundaries, you're gonna slip here and there because it's something new. But as you really start to walk in that, it's like your aura is different. It's like
Mm.
people start to sit on you. They're like, yeah, we ain't even gonna play with her right now. Right. I've even heard my friends like, oh yeah. But I started saying it out loud in the like last year. No, that's not my boundary. I kept saying stuff out loud. I'm like, that's not my boundary. I have boundaries now, right? And I would say it out loud, like, no, that's not going towards my goals. And so, no, so that's a financial boundary that I have. And they were
Right,
so sick of me saying it out loud, but I had to say it out loud because I needed to hear it. I needed to remind myself that I now put some boundaries in place. I now put some lines like, oh, that's getting too close, right? To remind me that we're not going back. We're
right,
not doing it
right,
again. I'm not doing it again. So I'm moving forward. And in that, people automatically started to respect me.
yeah,
So much so that I get a text message and then I would get another text like, oh, you know what? Never mind. I'm sorry. I forgot. That's your
right.
boundary.
Mhm.
Right? And I was like, oh, snap. That thing is working. Because, yes, very uncomfortable for me initially to say no.
Right,
It was. So I started being like boundary, boundary, boundary. I was like, we got next week talking about boundaries. I was on YouTube, they talking about boundaries. My friends kept hearing it, boundaries.
right,
So the respect got there. So when people started to really understand that I was serious about what I was and was not going to do and continue to do, they stopped asking me things. They stopped, it just stopped. Like it was like God was around the universe to be like, oh, she finally got it. We we don't leave it alone, which gave me the time, the energy, and the
right,
ability to show up for me.
right,
And so it just automatically gave me like more time, which the time was always there. I was just giving it away to everybody else. And so
right.
then my business flourished.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, China. China said, hey, ladies.
Welcome
Yes,
to the live.
she's a business coach, and we touched on some of this too a couple weeks ago about boundaries because you have to put them in place. You have to,
Yes.
especially when we wearing many hats like most women. I tell people all
Girl,
the time, if you don't take your business serious, nobody else will. And it's
no
the
one else.
energy that you give off. And when you start setting those boundaries and you separate yourself from the people that are pulling you away from where you're going, you start to attract the people that are supposed to be in your circle those people that are
Absolutely.
going to actually help you get to where you're trying to get to. So,
Absolutely.
what do you say to people who feel guilty about putting themselves first?
What do I say to people?
Yeah.
I ask them how they feel. How do you feel right now? I swear. How do you feel right now?
Mm,
A couple days ago, we just had a 2-day lock-in, right? A
mhm,
couple agents got together, some managers got together. We went across town to Philadelphia, PA, and I did a 2-day sales challenge with a couple of new agents. And I
mhm.
mean, I gave it to them. And one of the
And
how's this working for you?
mm,
How's it working for you? And I mean, it was like, I mean, I'm exhausted. I can't get anything done. I'm being put here and I'm like, I just let them go ahead and I know because I've done it already,
mhm,
right? I felt guilty about, you know, telling some, especially a spouse, especially my kids, like I'm mom, I'm wife, I'm supposed to. No, I'm not.
mm,
Mm-mm, no. Um, I'm trainer within an organization, so because I have the skill and the mindset to be able to do and tap into different people, I'm supposed to do this for free. No,
mm-mm.
I don't even know how I decided that I thought that was a good idea all these years, right? I don't even know. But one day I woke up like I done made life all the way up. We got to get these boundaries in order for real. But I asked them straight up, how is it making you feel? Right? Because we are in control of even how we are feeling. How we
Yes.
deal with anything that's going on in life, we are in control. So if you don't like how you feel, if you don't like the fact that you wake up in the morning, you got to be sitting here thinking and you mad because you have to do this for your spouse, you got to do this for your kids, you got to do this for you. Change it.
Mm.
Sit down and think
Simple.
about what does it really you look like for you to have the best day for you, including your spouse and your children. I love, I love again having I love having a relationship. I love my kids. But what does it look like as a healthy relationship and a healthy relationship with your children? What does that look like? Most of us don't know because we've been in toxicity our whole life. But we can sit still and think about how would we like the morning to look? How would we like to communicate with our children and our spouse? And then
Mm,
you show up as that. And it's going to take some time. And you show up as that. And as you continue to show up as that, sometimes those spouses will leave because they can't handle it. Because they want to
mm,
continue on, they want to continue. It's just different. Sometimes they going to get into line. I've seen several relationships around me where the wives, as friends, were like, it's time for us to start praying more. It's time for
mm.
us to get these boundaries. It's time for us to start saying no. And the reason why it's no, because we need to make sure that we have the energy to do the things that are most important for the family, for the unity. And a lot of the men were like, oh, this is actually better. Oh, how? And some men were like, not what I want, you
Right.
know. So you can't be guilty for wanting to show up as your best self. Again, boundaries help you protect the good that's it's not about trying to keep people outside. But
Right.
y'all need to respect this or move on out the way.
Yeah. Simple. And it's that simple. Period.
It is that simple. It's hard though, because I even have some times where I be like girl, for about 2 years easy, 2.5 years easy. The first thing, no. I just be like, no, I can't do that.
Don't even let them
It,
ask the question. No, no.
I
No.
mean, they would ask, and I'd be like, no, I can't do that. See, when I would say that, it would give me time to really be able to think about is this something that I can do or not. Whereas
Mm,
before I would always like, oh yeah, and then I would find like, oh my god, I forgot that I had this to do and that to do. Now I got to try to figure everything around. Now I'm stressed. I've created anxiety. Now my energy is coming off to everybody else with all this anxiety and talking quick, and it doesn't work. So
right.
I'm, you know what? No, like if I can't immediately know that this is a full yes, it's a no.
Mm,
And now that gives me that opportunity to say, you know what? No, I can't do that right now.
wow.
You go ahead and be great and find someone else. But in the meantime, I'm in the background thinking about, okay, let me look at my calendar. Let me see if I could kind of fit that in. And if I see that it is something that I can do, I will send a message back and say, did you find anyone else? They say, you know what, I didn't. I actually see that I can't fit that in. But now I know that I can show up for you fully.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Right.
give you my all instead of
Right.
me giving you pieces and fragments and I'm stressed out trying to figure out if it's going to work out. And thank God he has blessed me that I've been able to show up in a lot of places when I was not really ready. But I
Right.
stress, you know. So I still guilty sometimes saying no, but I understand it's healthy for me and it's healthy for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Martha said boundaries can actually allow you to give more if people truly understood. And that's true.
Yes.
That's something that was mentioned earlier. Taking care of ourselves allow us to serve others at a better capacity. And that's
Yeah.
so important, especially in the service industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. A lot of people are afraid of boundaries because they're afraid of losing people. So how can
Yeah.
people, I won't even just focus on business owners, but how can people protect their time without pushing people away?
Honey, sometimes you got to push them away.
That's what I was going to
I'm just
say.
going to be honest. Like and we don't want to set boundaries. We don't want to tell people no because, we are a people that need community. We want to be like, we want to have that, um, we want to have a relationship. We're created to have a relationship. But sometimes some of the relationships that we have are not healthy for us.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just not. And we want to hold on to the people because we're used to them, we're comfortable with them, you know. But every time you notice you go to another level, there's some people that's going to drop off. You got to prune, the flowers. You gotta get rid of some of the dead folk.
Right.
And God will remove them for you because you're
That's
elevating yourself, right? So you can't think about the fact that you're going to be pushing people away. If they love you, they honor you, they're going to be like, you know what? Yeah, I get that. Like my squad that's around me, I have grown and leveled up in several areas.
mm,
And each time I'm like, I know we used to go out and get, happy hour every 3 days all the week. Can't do that no more.
right.
And I was like, maybe they're gonna be like, okay, Chrissy ain't fun no more. She don't have time for us no more. Da, da, da. I used to talk to them every single day. I don't anymore. Right? That's what. They starting creeping up here with me. They like, look here. Matter of fact, I don't want to talk to none of y'all on the weekends now because I'm gonna spend that time with my husband. I'm so
Mhm.
we're all now, right? The one my squad, they're like, okay, can you send me that boundary book? Yes, ma'am. Here you go. Here you go. So the people that are supposed to be around you, they're going to start
They-
elevating with you
That's
in their
right.
different areas. And then there
Right.
are some people that are just like, man, like you just seem like, you don't have no time I don't have time for that. I don't. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying, yeah, I'm better than that. I'm gonna just say, yes, I am. I don't have time for it no
Right.
more. Because my goal is different than yours. And some people are happy where they are. And I praise God for that. Because we all should be happy with what lives that we choose to have.
Right.
It's on a different level. And just call me for a birthday or whatever. If I have the time, I'm coming because I love you. Call me. If I have the time, I'm calling you back. But I've understood that I can't continue to give the hours and the time, especially to drama, because that's going to
Right.
drain me, you
Right.
know. And now people just don't call me with it. I have a few people hitting me about some things, but they're not in like my close circle. So
Yeah.
I just hit them like, hey, I don't understand why that's a problem for you. Let people be great. Like, I don't understand. And then they just stop texting me on stuff.
Right.
Teach people how to be around.
Yeah. I tell people when you're around, whoever you're around, you're going to become them or they're going to become like you.
Yeah.
And so that's why you have to make sure you're hanging around people that you want to be like. Okay. Because it's all
Yeah.
about elevating. And there's always a season of isolation before
Yeah.
elevating because you can't grasp nothing new holding on to the old stuff. So there's always going to be a season of transition because everybody don't have to be like lost and left behind. That they
Right.
just need to know their respective places.
Right.
You're not the everyday person anymore. Okay, now I have to do this. I see you on the
Yeah.
weekend, and just put them where they need to be. Because
Yeah.
especially we find ourselves doing for people that can't do the same for us. That's what's even worse about it. We're
Yeah.
doing
And
more for they can't do nothing for
yeah.
us.
And even like when I think about that, and I was laughing because me and my mother was having a conversation about certain relationships and what we do for people and what they don't do for us or what have you. And I thought about it, I said, I don't even require my friends to give me at the same level that I give to them. But like a couple of my road dogs, right? We've had these conversations before, and they're like, "Man, you do so much for me, and this and I need to know, like, what can I do to give back?" Right? So they're aware of the giving, they're aware of the relationship, but they're also aware of like, what can I do? So that one girl was like, "Girl, I'm doing your hair. You don't even have to pay me because all that you've done for me, finally, I can do something for you." Right? The other was like, "Oh, your birthday's coming. I want to be able to do." So they find ways to show and share the appreciation, which does not have to be on that same level, right? But at least
Mhm.
it's like it's reciprocal in the way that we want to be there for one another and that we are able to. And that is worth gold. I mean, priceless,
Yes.
bro. Priceless. But when you got that person that the only time they talk to you is when they call because they want something from you. And when you ask something from them, it's like they MIA, but they come back around. I'm, I'm, uh, I'm like, you might get that little text message that says take care. And everybody knows part of my boundary. When you get the text that says take care, that means you are now blocked. Anything that you say after that, your girl has not received. I'm done. I can't, I have to protect my
I
peace.
love it.
Boundaries.
She said, take care. Say
Take
mine
care.
is be blessed. Be blessed.
Be blessed, girl. I be telling people, but be blessed all the time. You ain't blocked with to be blessed. And if I say take care, I'm not mad at you. I promise. It's just that I understand that you are not in alignment with where I'm going. That's all.
Right. Oh my God. That yes. Well, that look. I'm surprised we even got through all the questions before 7 o'clock. Because I mean, your conversation was just going right through them. I'm like, okay, this leads
Love
right to
that.
the next question. So I love it. We got comments.
Love
Bertha
that.
said, "Bless and release." I know that's
Praise
right in
God.
Jesus' name. Have a nice life without
Yeah, I
me.
mean, and I'm not mad. You know, I will say that, there are a few people through, especially this last year, individuals that I have met and had conversation with and what have you. And I found, throughout time, 'cause my thing is like, I need to see if you are a blessing to my life or a distraction at this point in my life. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad person, but a distraction meaning that you really are not in alignment with I know I'm supposed to be going. And I
Right.
have a million questions. I didn't create a daggone card game called um oh, I just forgot it. Love. Why did I forget my own game? Because I'm
I
talking
just
stuff.
forget your own name and imagine.
Listen, it was so cute too. I created this game, love something. And I be asking all these questions. And it helps me to identify if we're in alignment or not. Right.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, yeah, we're not. So there's no need to continue on because we're not in alignment. Like
Right.
I can't entertain energies with the opposite sex if I know that it's not going anywhere. What's the purpose of
Right.
that?
Right.
You know what I mean? And
I
so
like
people are like, how do you just shut off? Because I never was really all the way on. Because I understand I have boundaries and I understand that I just don't have any more time to waste, and I don't want to
right.
waste anybody else's time either. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people, when Martha says everyone is on a mission, be sure theirs are in alignment with yours. And that is so true because we don't have to be on the same exact path, but depending on where you're going, if it does conflict with me and what I got going on, then hey, I love you, but we just got to go our separate ways. But we
Yes.
have to be confident in where we're going and value ourselves and our time enough to put our foot down and stand on those boundaries. So I do
Stand on
have
it.
stand on them, 10 toes down. If you got extra toes, all of them down. Okay.
Look,
I
I
do have.
found this
You
girl.
found what?
It's the love link, girl. It's the love link.
It's called the love link. I like that.
Listen, I had put out the cards in a couple months. I'm on my second 100-day, challenge and not doing that. So it's been a minute since I had to pull the cards out. It's called the love link.
Oh, that sounds like a fun game. Is it? I know you got it for sale somewhere, don't you?
No, I do not. No, I do not because I'm in
Oh,
a millionaire. I'm in this
okay.
mastermind
Okay.
course, and they were like,
So,
stop selling all that extra stuff and just focus on your business, like your insurance, what you're supposed to do. And I was like, true that. So I do have it. If you need it, I can email it over to you. Yeah. And look, print you
So,
out a copy of it to you. 'Cause you know, we out in these streets.
yes. So I do have one last question that I ask all of my guests, because all of my guests are typically business owners or some type of, community leader, and we all have goals. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, with everything that you have going on and such, influence and empowerment that you give to others, what is your ultimate end game?
Oh, girl, to help others earn multiple six figures in their business. I am focused on life insurance agents and brokers because that's what I've done since 2011. That is what I do. I mean, I dream about life insurance, which is crazy, but it's ingrained in me. And just trying to really help individuals get out of this space of being stuck. The main thing is that they don't understand that it's your relationship with your Heavenly Father and what you're going on with your family is affecting your money. And so
Right,
really starting to coach individuals on all of those things and get alignment so they can understand what they need to do so that they can start getting the bag, if you will. Because you can't help
right,
someone else if you're stuck. So I've
right,
moved into coaching and online courses. Yes, I will always help my clients and write business, but I am not hiring. I am not. So the people that are coming into my courses, like I said, I have that the 5-day sales challenge starting on Friday. I mean on Monday coming up. Yep, that's it. On Monday coming up, they're agents from different IMOs and different companies, and a couple of them are captive agents, and they don't have to worry about at the end or in the middle being told about this IMO and you need to come work with me because I'm not hiring.
right,
Period.
right.
I have done that. I thank God that I've been able to do almost $1 million in our first year as a small
Yes.
agency as an IMO. Right. So
Okay.
what we're doing works, but I really
Right,
want to elevate and really be able to tap into individuals and use my gifts, my coaching to help them, and their uplines can benefit from it. No problem.
right.
My courses are not free, but they're not
Mm,
super expensive either. But that's where I'm at. I want to be able to tap everybody that I can to help them understand life now, living in full expectation, never ending opportunities within, because we all have what we need. We just need help to break that stuff down.
yeah. I really appreciate you. You've always been one to pour out,
Yeah.
everything that you can to people with, at no cost. And so I'm glad that you increasing those boundaries and putting them prices on that stuff, honey, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it gotta make sense both
Yes.
ways around. And so what else can they find, at this link? Is it just for the 5-day boot camp or
No, no, no. So at the ChristineAustinLifeNow.com, it is updated. So at the top, you'll be able to see the free, of course, I always give away some free documents where life insurance agents can find different things there to help them with their business. So those different things will continue to be added to that website, but also the challenges. So the 5-day challenge, I'm going to be doing that consistently. This is the first week. So the price is half price. The next one, it will be the regular price because I'm giving it away this week. I've already did a 2-day a couple days ago, and they were like, "Oh my god!" Like I already made sales today on 'em. So I was on the Zoom group, and I got to be like, "Oh my god!" They're like, "Girl," so I already know it works. So
right,
I'm giving it away in this week, Monday. So you can go to the website, you can sign up. Again, it is private. The videos will not be posted anywhere other than to your own individual email so that you can have access to the training material. If in fact you miss a day, you will have the recordings will only be there for 5 days. After the
mm,
5 days, they will be deleted. Okay.
okay,
So it's private. Like you're going to get everything that you need. You're going to get your coaching and all that stuff while you're in the course. So it's important, to show up or to watch your videos and you'll get the email, all that. So coaching, training, that is big on moving forward. Again, I'm not hiring. I've done that, loved it. I enjoyed it. I did very well at it. My agents, I still have multiple six-figure agents, that still work with me, my partners, and I'm still there for them. I'm just not going to continue putting in all the time that I know is necessary to build a large agency. I'm moving in my gift, which is training.
okay. I'm saying here, look, I want to get it. I'm looking at the schedule, but you said everything is recorded, so I can have it
Yeah,
like to
you'll
do it
this,
my own time.
yep, it's Monday through Friday. This one coming up. It's 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is recorded. If you happen to get the VIP, you can schedule your VIP session at your time that's available. So I had a couple people that were like, hey, they did the same thing. They paid for it. And they're like, well, I'm not gonna be able to be live, but I want the workbook and I want the recordings, but they also wanted the one-on-one sessions. So they will be able to schedule their sessions on their own time.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'm gonna take a look, dude, when I get off of here so I can purchase mine. Definitely
Okay,
want to
okay.
support, and I believe in your system because, like, I know you.
I know, right?
All right. So look,
That's it.
they also
Yeah.
can connect with you on Instagram, right?
Yep, they could be on my Instagram page. You're not going to get a lot of business stuff, but if you just want to see who I am and how, you know, how lively I am, feel free to go over to Instagram. Got a few things business, but it is definitely my personal page.
And then she's
So
on Facebook, and you also
yeah,
have a YouTube channel as well. So I'm gonna drop these links in the comments
yeah.
after we finish too. Make sure
YouTube
y'all
is where all
follow.
the training
Yes,
is.
she got thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers, y'all.
Yes, we almost had 9. I'm like, we gonna be at like 15, 16 in the next like 2 months. That's the goal. I'm building
Yes.
that baby up.
Y'all
Yes.
make sure y'all go and subscribe to her page, y'all. Christine, is there anything else that you want to say to the people about boundaries or anything else you got going on that you want people to know about?
Yeah, you know what? Boundaries are key. They really are. And I'm grateful for all the experiences I've had throughout all my years of not having them because I really believe God has allowed me to go through all the things that I've gone through, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything because I'm able to really connect with so many people that are going through so many things. Like, dang, okay, God, I understand, right? Now I'm able to pour back into other people and truly do and live in the gift that I know that He gave to me. But it is important. We walk around here and wonder why we are in so much pain and turmoil. We're blaming everybody. We're just in this constant state of being stuck.
Right,
And
right.
really, it's all
In the
in
mind.
here. And when we
Mm,
finally release that and get it out and understand that it starts with us and it ends with us.
mm,
So if
mm,
you want
mm.
peace, you demand peace
Yeah,
peacefully. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to be screaming and hollering, telling people they got to do this and they got to do that. This is no. You start to operate in the space, in the likeness of how you want your life to be, and magically, people will move out the way.
mm,
They will move out the way, and it's painful. Trust me, it's a painful transition. But to be on that other side, girl, I was like, why you take so long, God? He like, why you take so long?
hey, look, like the ones lost in the wilderness.
No,
We don't want to
he
sit
like the
40
light is
years.
there. The light is right there. You just didn't want to come to it. You want to keep messing around, thinking you got to bring everybody with you, and everybody just can't go with you where God has for you. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
what it is.
right.
As I told the one lady, I said, the painful part about a lot of things that happen in life, the changes, is because we have this vision, and in the vision we have these faces of friends and people that I think are going to be there with us. And in reality, God said, I gave you that vision for you to be there. And yeah, I may have said you're going to be there with someone, but I didn't say that it was going to be this person or that. Right. So
Right,
whenever things happen and these people are removed from your life, you got to understand the vision is still there.
right.
You're still supposed to continue moving forward and understand, oh, okay, it just meant you couldn't come with me. So now you have more freedom, flexibility, and power to push forward.
Wow. And that's what it's all about, doing whatever we need to do to move forward.
Yes.
So I appreciate you, Christine, for taking your
Thank
time out to
you.
come up here because I know you cost about an hour, honey.
And you right
Appreciate-
on time because I have a 7 o'clock appointment. So I got to go help these
Oh,
families.
well, God bless you. Thank y'all for watching. If you have not subscribed, hit subscribe and make sure you share because maybe you didn't need to hear this, but somebody you know needs to hear this message. Be blessed, Christine, and I will
I
see you
love
around,
you.
love. Thank you. I love
Thank
you
you
too.
so much, girl. And you rocking that hair, I know.
No,
You
you are.
rocking
Look,
it.
I see you done got close. I thought she done cut it up and laid it down. I love it.
It's
But you can rock
gone,
it.
girl. Change. We reviving so that we can thrive. And
Yes.
boundaries fall right in line. Boundaries fall right in line. Thank you, baby.
Thank you, love. Have a good night.
Y'all have the best one. Y'all stay on the round table. I'll see y'all next week.
All right.
Thank you, babe.